All right, let's jump right in. Today, we're breaking down a story called The Anatomy of a Cautionary Tale, The Locked Room. This thing is an absolute masterclass in building psychological suspense. We're going to dissect the specific narrative beats that turn a standard spooky scenario into something that truly, truly gets under your skin. So, let me ask you. Would you spend the night in a 100-year-old abandoned mansion? I mean, it's the classic horror setup, right? But the reason this premise works so incredibly well is because it directly pits our basic survival instincts against our undeniable human curiosity. Okay, let's dive into this with part one, the Midnight Dare. We start off with our protagonist, Ravi, who's just accepted a pretty dark challenge from his friends. Notice how the environment really does the heavy lifting here to isolate him. We've got this 100-year-old mansion, and it is suffocatingly silent. Undisturbed dust completely covers the floors, and these creepy old paintings are just staring down at him. It establishes this eerie, claustrophobic atmosphere from literally sentence one. And look at how the narrative explicitly maps out his escalation. He enters the mansion right at 12 a.m. By 12:15, that dead silence breaks with the sound of slow footsteps from the upper floor. Now logic is screaming at him to leave, but by 12:20 a.m., that fatal curiosity totally takes over. The suspense is methodically paced out, leading us right to 12:25 a.m., where he nervously walks upstairs and finds a solitary wooden door at the very end of the hallway. Which brings us to part two, the ignored warning. So Ravi reaches the end of the hallway and stands completely alone before this door. And right there, deeply carved into the old wood, is a direct warning. Never open this door. This isn't a lock, you guys. It's a rule. And in folklore, breaking an established rule is the ultimate catalyst for disaster. But it makes us ask, why does curiosity always win? Ravi is staring at a literal warning, and yet he pushes the heavy door open. Cautionary tales rely on this specific fatal flaw, the human compulsion to just cross boundaries. It's exactly why his doomed actions resonate so deeply with all of us. So what is actually inside? The suspense absolutely peaks right here. The text tells us inside the room stood an old, cracked mirror. Ravi steps in, looks into it, and this is where reality just shatters. He notices that his reflection in the glass is smiling, but Ravi isn't smiling at all.
Now, what's really interesting about this is part three, the smiling reflection.
This is where that terrifying doppelganger trope comes into full play. On the left side, we see Ravi physically stepping back in pure, visceral terror, feeling a serious chill down his spine. But in complete contrast, on the right side, his reflection just smiles and does the absolute impossible. It slowly steps out of the mirror. This physical separation of the self creates this horrifying juxtaposition of raw human terror against an impossible, predatory entity. What follows is just pure flight response. Step one, he turns and sprints down those stairs as incredibly fast as he can. Step two, he bursts outside, escaping the mansion and gasping for breath in the night air. And finally, step three, a massive wave of relief washes over him as he reaches the perceived safety of his car and looks into the window glass. But cautionary tales rarely end in relief. He looks into the glass of that car window, and the text delivers a massive, chilling plot twist. His face was gone. Instead of seeing his own exhausted reflection, that exact same smiling reflection from the locked room was staring right back at him. So, the crucial point we're left with is part four, the terrifying legend. Because this isn't just a quick scare. It's a full-on origin story. The consequence of Ravi's actions ripples out into a dark myth that the villagers whisper about to this very day. Anyone who opens the locked room loses their place to the one inside the mirror. This is the ultimate punishment for ignoring the warning. You don't just lose your life, you completely lose your identity and your entire place in the world. It really leaves you with a lingering, creeping sense of paranoia that extends well beyond the text. So as we wrap up this explainer, I'll leave you with this final thought. The next time you walk past a dark window at night or look into a mirror in a quiet room, are you absolutely sure it's you looking back? Thanks for exploring this legend with me, and until next time, stay curious and always heed the warnings.